Welcome, dear viewers, for another night of All Hallows Eve. I see you've come for another moment with me to see which I have picked to be the top 20 of this. You know, well, that was just pathetic. I mean, last year I even had a little cauldron to start off the sketch. That was just plain blech. Ugh. I apologize. Obviously, things have been more hectic than usual. Ugh. And as much as I would love to explain the wackiness of it all, of why certain videos haven't come up, let's just say that that's going to be saved for another video. But for now, cue the intro. YouTubers once again, and welcome to the third Halloween special of Reviewing the Web. And again, I am so sorry that you are pretty much stuck with this kind of Reviewing the Web special until I could finally get off my butt to get to that next episode. Anyway, obviously it's Halloween, and again, I apologize for how lame the intro was. Well, that and how bare even this season seems to be, but I do promise you there is a good reason for that. But obviously you're not here for that. You're here to see what I picked for the top 20. So let's get to it. Number 20, Nights of Fright.
Hey,
a video series by Firebrand, aka Josh Scorcher. To put it short, this is more like a video series of reviews for our classic Halloween videos or movies that Firebrand, also known as Josh Scorcher, pretty much just finished watching most of the time alongside with his brother, I assume. It's actually not that bad to watch. He gives very good input on what to at least expect in levels of horror in these videos, or movies, I should be saying. Pretty much gives good recommendations, and at least he gives up a good warning for anybody who's looking for anything in particular. So, yeah, definitely go watch them. Number 19, It's Halloween, an Adventure Zone story by Stars Will Fall. Yeah. Maybe before I explain this Halloween special, or story for that matter, I should probably explain a bit more about the subject of said story. Or rather, the show. Oh, and for those who might feel a little uncomfortable with certain things I'll mention about it, I apologize. But what can I say? Sometimes it's good, but obviously that's a review for another day, but for now, quick explanation. The Adventure Zone is basically a podcast/radio show by the McElroy family, consisting of three brothers and their father playing D&D. The youngest of the three brothers, Griffin, is the Dungeon Master, and in their first completed campaign, at least as far as I know so far, the Griffin's brothers, Travis and Justin, and their father, Clint, play the characters Magnus, the Human Warrior, Taka, the Elf Wizard, and Merle, the Dwarven Cleric, in that order. They basically have to collect several items known as the Grand Relics in order to save the world, yet all the while they're faced with mysteries, dangers, temptations, and many others. They also meet people like Angus, the boy detective, Travis, the Grim Reaper, whom Taco dates later on, the Red Robe, supposedly evil but for some reason helps the group, the Rector, leader of the Bureau of Balance, and many others. It's a funny yet awesome podcast series that's gotten such a fan base that the McElroys have even already released the first graphic novel entitled Here There Be Goblins, and so worth the read, and you should also check out the series of Poke Pronto! I really gotta get my butt off and get to that show again. So basically in this little story, This takes place maybe a little after their grand adventure. Not spoiling anymore, sorry. And they're basically getting ready for, I think, their first Halloween? Can't remember that much off the top of my head. But for some reason, as they're getting ready, Angus MacDonald, the boy detective, is nowhere to be found. And of course, Taco and Kravis go looking for the boy detective, only to find that he's been so busy trying to get his costume ready that he completely forgot to help everybody else out. It's actually really adorable how the writer portrayed these guys, especially little Angus, because I know I'm basically spoiling something else about this, but Angus MacDonald, well, to put it short, he's like a kid trying to be an adult, but in this story, this is one of the few times where it's just too cute that he ends up acting more kiddish than adultish. Definitely worth the read if you guys are looking for a little pull at the heartstrings this Halloween. Number 18. This is Halloween, a Nightmare Night Before Christmas parody, sung by Voice Play, a cappella group. This was actually very well done. It's, well, both a song and a music video. And in this music video that you guys are obviously not seeing, the group known as Voice Play, very talented by the way, are pretty much finding themselves in a bit of a pickle after, well, let's just say that this particular trick-or-treater didn't seem to like the idea that they didn't have any more candy to give out, of course. And as they're singing the song This is Halloween, they slowly but surely turn into monsters. Kind of cute, and it's actually clever how they do all this. So yeah, if you're a fan of the cappella groups and you like the song This is Halloween, and you want to get a little chuckle here and there from how things turn out when somebody changes into monsters, check these guys out. They're worth it. Number 17. Look What You Made Me Brew, a Disney Villains Taylor Swift Unexpected Musical by Patty Cake Productions. These guys, well, probably not well known. They've actually done some pretty impressive work. Basically taking songs that are either classic or well known or current and using them to fit certain situations of Disney movies or characters. And this one was actually very well done. And it's not even just the song itself, you can basically see what's going on. Long story short, the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus are casting a spell to apparently, well, it's pretty clear, to undo what they believe is wrong against them. Probably poor choice of words, but yeah, it's basically to get back at the heroes for beating them and all. And as the song progresses, we end up seeing the Wicked Queen from Snow White, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatian, and Captain Hook from Peter Pan. Of course, it looks like they're portraying the live-action version of these villains, but hey, can't really argue with that one since they still do an amazing job with this song. And it's so worth the watch. Number 16. Nightmare Night Special featuring Aeon of Dreams by Lightning Bliss. This is actually a continuation of another video called Kichi's Halloween Special, at least I think. And this is actually kind of cute. In this one, Lightning Bliss, the little rainbow alicorn, is basically about to get a little treat from Aeon. And it basically leaves off from where Lightning Bliss gets snatched from a group of trick-or-treaters by Aeon, because apparently he wants to show her his idea of Halloween, which is basically turn her into a pony demon and pretty much, well, I guess you can't really say trick Dr. Wolf, but yeah, on second thought, yeah, it's basically a trick to him. But they also kinda trick Keyframe and Golden Fox, though theirs is a bit more excessive. It's cute and fun to watch. Definitely something worth giggling about here, even if it is a bit at the expense of certain individuals. Sorry guys, relax and enjoy the show. If you're watching this, of course. Number 15, The Peveril Story, sung by the Butterbeer Experience. Now, admittedly, there are actually a lot of versions of the Tales of the Three Brothers. And this one isn't entirely that different, but at the same time, so much more different. It's actually a song that pretty much not only tells the story of the three brothers, but it's in the point of view of death itself. And good lord, this song was beautifully done. It gives off a bit of that folklore feeling, like it's been sung for many, many years. Pretty much how stories like the Brothers Grimm and, well, Edgar Allan Poe, or any stories or song that was supposed to teach the children about how they should be living their lives and not doing anything terrible. And admittedly, while this may not be an actual Halloween special, this is definitely a song that is worth listening to, especially on Halloween. Number 14. I've never seen Donald happier. A Disney World Impressions Halloween video by Brian Hall. This was actually so enjoyable to watch. If you're aware of Brian Hall on YouTube, then you know that he does incredible impressions of characters from movies and cartoons. And the title itself is actually very well thought out. Because while he does his Genie and Abu impressions at Aladdin and Abu, and then his Iago impression at Jafar, his impressions of Donald and Daisy that really taste the cake. So if you guys are looking for a very good laugh and just a real smile on your face, this is the one for you. Number 13, After the Fact Scaremaster by Silverquill. Now, I'm sure you remember in one of my previous top 20, there was the video of Nightmare Night 2014. This is what you probably call the continuation of that. Basically, in this video, Silverquill and his friends are once again trapped, well, in his case, once again trapped in the graveyard, and now they're gonna have to do a review of Scaremaster in order to get out. This is also a funny one, but good lord, does it get dark at one point towards the end. Like, it literally came to a point where Silverquill is at the gallows. Now, I know he has his bit where he gets blown up, torn apart, bonked on the head, blah blah blah. Basically, he gets hurt 24/7, but yeesh, did it get dark. And I'm not just quoting him himself, it's yeesh, it got dark. Still, it does end well by the end of the video, and it was very well done. They made very excellent points in the episode. They actually got into some themes that were rather deep and sometimes funny and inappropriate. Silverquill. And to put it short, if you guys are looking for a good laugh and want to at least see how Scaremaster holds up in their eyes, this is the video for you. Number 12, reviewing the Halloween special. Wait, what? Wait, what? That's not one of the things I put on this list. For that matter, why is it one of my... Artie! I regret nothing! Yep. Obviously, he's back. Again, that will be explained in another video. Ugh. Let's just get back to it. Number 12. The Luck of the Liars series videos by The Inverted Shadow. This is basically a crossover of My Little Pony and Five Nights at Freddy's. And while the first one is mostly goofy, but gets dark close to the end, the other two, well, I shouldn't even say two, because there's technically also the prologue, where Bon Bon takes the night shift for the, I'm gonna say maybe Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which would also be considered the prologue to the game series. Anyway, long story short, Lyra has to keep an eye on things, but ends up a bit more goofy than usual. Of course, at the end of the official first video, she ends up coming home with a Lyra bot, which was created by the puppet, and let's just say that the animatronics aren't too happy that the one decided to leave the pizzeria. And admittedly, it doesn't even just involve Lyra and Bonbon. It actually later on, and if you pay attention to Bonbon's first adventure with the pizzeria, it also involves two of Shadow's, I think, his creations? Pretty much Magic Mare and Shimmer King. It involves his ponified freaks, or freakified ponies, whatever. It's basically Trixie and Sunset, who became pretty much overpowered freaks after having their souls merged with the souls of the dead freaks. Trixie, now called Magic Mare because of Magic Man, and Sunset is Shimmer Cakes, can't remember the other part of her name, with the... Darn it, why can't I remember his name? Oh well, probably not important. Anyway, it also involves those two, and boy howdy, does the series end quite spectacularly. And kinda sweet. Although from what I understand, now, at least, if I understand this correctly, Shadow is now in the process of making an epilogue for the series. Probably to really make it clear that he's not making any more to the series. Which is understandable since, well, let's face it, you can only keep going for so long with certain, well, games, let alone video series. But anyway, if you guys enjoy My Little Pony and Five Nights at Freddy's, this is the one for you. Number 11, Sonic and Scared Stupid Part 3 Halloween Special by Belinda Productions. And sorry if I got that name mispronounced. This is actually a continuation for the first two Sonic and Scared Stupid, and yes, I know, this is one of those other reaction videos that I've yet to put up, and I promise I will soon, even if it means I have to skip the darn corner text. Anyway, in this Halloween special, Sonic ends up coming back to the mansion because, well, the doctor is supposedly dead, but turns out he's not dead. And the good doctor, of course, does his little experimentation bit, and it's pretty much up to Sonic and Tails to stop the newest monster that's pretty much terrorizing the town. Can't say for sure if this is the official end to the series, but if it is, very well done, Belinda Productions. Pat yourself on the back, because this is definitely one I would love to keep watching every single Halloween. Number 10, The Tale of the Three Brothers official adaptation by Felicity Giles. Yeah, I know, another of the Tale of the Three Brothers videos, but there's a reason people keep coming back to these stories, or this story, and pretty much bring it to a new form of life. This one is no different. It actually starts off with the grandfather telling his grandson the story of the three brothers. And yes, while I'm spoiling this a little bit more, they actually had Death portrayed as a little girl. That was actually very clever, especially since, when you think about it, Death isn't always going to be depicted as this gloomy, black-hooded, skeletal creature. Sometimes, even in the old stories, if you know where to look for him, he can be depicted as an actual human being, or at least a spirit taking on the form of a human being. And who knows? Concerning that, half the time, the story itself has many interpretations. This is just their way of showing that Death can take forms of even a little girl. And let's face it, with how many other horror films and such using kids as the monsters, it's not all that far out. But yeah, the story pretty much goes as you expected, but the ending to this video, wow. I swear I want to burst into tears at this. Especially with the twist. Not spoiling it, so take my word for it. go watch this. Even if it's not an actual Halloween video, it's definitely worth it. Number 9. The Pyromancers Misadventures Shugo, the Cowardly Squirrel by the Pyromancers. Yeah, I know, another one of their Halloween videos. But this was actually kind of cute, as well as very well done. Basically, in this video, Bella has won a mansion, and she and her friends, minus Aku, Star, and Mello, go to the mansion and check it out. But of course, the game, save for Shugo, get kidnapped by, well, some sort of ghost creature, and it's up to Shugo to save them. Obviously, by the child alone, it's supposed to be like a callback to Courage the Cowardly Dog. And they actually did this very well. Of course, I'm still surprised that they had cheesecake part of it, but hey, at least it works somehow. So if you guys are looking for a good laugh and reminiscence to Courage the Cowardly Dog, and let's face it, it's also kind of a callback to Luigi's Mansion. But yeah, either way, if you like that kind of stuff, this is the one for you. Number 8. Who Killed Markiplier by Markiplier. Well, obviously.
And yes, I am fully aware that this is also another of those videos where I did a live reaction, but I never seem to put up, and I promise I will put it up eventually, even if it means I have to skip the text corner, at least for this year. Anyway,
in this video series, this is actually kind of like a point of view type of video where you end up as one of the guests of Markiplier's party. But, of course, Markiplier ends up getting killed. Basically, you and the detective, who also gets invited, well, no. Yeah, I think so. It's been a while since I've seen the series. Basically, you guys have to figure out who could have killed Markiplier before it was too late. This was very cleverly done, while still hilarious. But, oh dear lord. Even if the videos themselves are literally in pieces, like 4 to 5 of them. Oh my god, the ending. Well, not to spoil anything, but let's just say that it kind of explains so much, yet doesn't at the same time. So definitely go watch this. It's worth it. Number 7. Sleepy Hollow... Wait, what? Whoa, wait a minute. I never put that as part of the top 20. Especially considering that it's one of my old things, and I don't even think it was really that great. Artie! Still forgetting nothing. Ugh. Why did my dream spirit have to be a playful wolf? Number 7. The Scariest Costume, an MLP animatic song by Magpie Pony. This is actually gotta be one of the cutest songs I have ever heard. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the one song from that Garfield Halloween special years back. Oh well. But anyway, in this little special, Rainbow Dash doesn't know what to dress up as, and Pinkie Pie tries to help her to figure out what to dress up as. And I just said dress up as twice. Yeah, well, this is actually very enjoyable to watch, even if just to listen to. Definitely worth it. The animation is very well done. The lyrics, so cute. Even at the end as to what Rainbow Dash decides to dress up as, with Pinkie Pie following along for the ride, of course. So, check this out, because Magpie Pony and her friend have done a fantastic job at this. Number 6. The Villain Slayer, What Goes Around Comes Around by Patty Cake Productions. Now obviously I've explained what Patty Cake Productions is, but in this one, the song is actually original, and they do a very surprisingly good job at this. Though I have a feeling they also got the idea and inspiration from their previous music video of the Look What You Made Me Brew, since admittedly, they used that little spell that Winnie spoke in the beginning of that video in this one. It's pretty much as you probably expect. The villains are pretty much stewing over their defeat against the heroes. But then, Dr. Felicie pretty much has a plan to cast a spell to make sure that the heroes never get their happy endings. And from what I can tell, this is actually going to be a series.
that I cannot wait to see, especially to what happens next. So, definitely worth the listen and the watch. Go check them out. Number 5, The Ghost of Halloween, an Adventure Zone story by Petra. And sorry if I mispronounced that one. Obviously, I don't need to say what the Adventure Zone is again. But basically in this story, Merle, Magnus, and Taco are out in Neverwinter, or is it Netherwinter? Either way, they're out in town pretty much hanging out when they find out that the town itself celebrates Halloween a week early. And apparently it turns out they're celebrating on the actual day of All Hallows Eve, whereas everywhere else celebrates it a week later. Apparently, supposedly, everywhere else is kind of a wuss. Because you all know the story of how All Hallows Eve is where the barrier between life and death, or the world in between, is pretty much open. But yeah, anyway, in this story, other than what I just explained, the three end up running into a kid who lost his bag of treats, and they have to help him. But of course, the trio, especially Taco, ends up, let's just say, haunted by a particular spirit. Of course, by the end of it, we actually get why that they get haunted in the first place, especially Taco. I cannot stress it enough, that is especially Taco. And if you knew his character, you'd understand why. A bit longer than the last Halloween story that I've mentioned, this one is actually very enjoyable to read, and, well, let's just say that, again, this is one of those stories where you know not to mess with a kid and his candy. So, have a read. It's definitely worth it. Number 4, Monster Mash, a song cover by Michelle Krieber and Claire Collette. And, sorry if I mispronounced your names. Well, obviously, for all those who know who Michelle Krieber is, she's actually the voice of Apple Bloom in the MLP series. Of course, in this, she's got her own YouTube channel where she does song covers and such. And this cover of the Monster Mash was beautifully done. Because obviously, you all should know that the Monster Mash was, at least if I understand correctly, created and sung during the 50s, and even to this day, it still carries a beat that you can't help but dance to. And of course, Michelle and her friend Claire do not ruin it. It is so amazingly done, both in song and video form. So take a good listen, have a good watch, I promise you won't regret it. Number 3. Nightmare Night Society 2, Home by the Sea by Grace Silverman. Obviously, this is a sequel to the first Nightmare Night Society, and yeah, you also know that this was the probably only live reaction Halloween special that I actually got done put up, that you guys saw me react to. And, oh boy. Even to this day, I still get some chills from at least several of the stories. Especially the one with Keyframe and the Golden Fox. Because let's face it, even if you think you know who you're talking to on the chat box in the computer, you at the same time, you don't know if it's really them after that kind of scare. So go ahead and watch this. If you have already, watch it again. Because this is definitely worth those nights when you want a good scare. Number 2. The Tale of Three Brothers, a short puppet film by Adam Rail. And again, sorry if I pronounce it, and again, I know this is another of the Tale of Three Brothers videos, but there's a reason that this one is the number 2. Basically, this story is actually told in the form of wooden puppets. And while there's only one real hand that's gloved to portray the part of death, oh my god, it is so creepy and horrifying. It's just so well done. And their interpretation of what the Three Hollows are, wow, even I didn't consider that. It is definitely one of those videos where you know the story, but it gives it a whole new horrifying twist where you feel like you have to turn off the lights and get under the covers to get the real effect. So go watch this, especially if you want a really good scare. And now for the number 1 pick for this year's Top 20 Halloween specials. But first, some honorable mentions. At number 5, there's Disney's Villains Sing This Is Halloween by Brian Hall. Very cleverly done, especially when it comes to all the villain voices singing the song. Number 4, Kichi Keen Halloween Special, obviously by Kichi Keen, where she and some kitties go trick-or-treating, along with Lightning Fist, which ironically enough is where we see her get nabbed by A in our dreams. Number 3, Hocus Pocus music video, I Put a Spell on You, by Tracy Hines featuring Lauren Matistic. I apologize if I mispronounced those names. Basically, it's a music video of the girl singing I Put a Spell on You. Very well done, the costume's perfect, especially like I was almost watching the movie. At number 2, Hocus Pocus music video, Come Little Children, also by Tracy Hines. This one, obviously, sung by Tracy Hines. She does an incredible job. Again, it feels like it's almost like it came out of the movie. And the number 1 honorable mention is Hocus Pocus by Nostalgia Critic. Basically where he reenacts the movie in the most ridiculous way. It's funny, yet it makes so much sense, but at the same time, you still can't help but love the movie anyway. Whew! Okay, and now... And the number 1 Halloween special, at least in this year's list, is... Dreaming of Equestria Halloween. Oh, right, that's it!
Dang it, Artie! Stop putting up some of my old videos!
Hey, I did not do that time.
Well, who else could have done that last one?
Well, maybe you did it. We all know what your spell magic is like half the time. He practically has a mind of his own.
Oh, really? So, if I cast my spell to make sure that you pay for that last video, nothing's gonna happen to you, right?
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, you know I'm doing it.
You really shouldn't.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it, actually. We all know what happens when your spell messes up half the time.
Doing it! What?
I'm probably gonna regret laughing at your face for this one, but still, enjoy the rest of the special, and you better get back to your spellcast and practicing soon.
Ugh. You know what? I'll deal with him later. It's not worth it at the moment, and it's a problem as well that, because we all know that since my magic is pretty much dream magic, it could be pretty much as chaotic as harmonious. So, yeah, let's just get back to the list before anything else happens. Ugh.
And the real number 1 Halloween special, at least for this year's list, is Nostalgia Critic's review of It. By who else? Nostalgia Critic. Okay, I know this isn't technically a Halloween special, but considering that said review involves a horror film remade, I think it counts in this case, especially in this film, and another called Nostalgia Critic Riffs, Mickey Mouse and the Mad Doctor, were both shown at a convention and reacted by the fans themselves. And if that doesn't show how awesome this one is, I don't know what does. Anyway, it starts off with the clowns from both the original and remake of the movie It, arguing over whose movie was better whilst playing poker, with apparently a nerd, from the looks of it. Of course, Critic comes in to offer his input on the remake, if that's what you want to call how he comes into the scene, since he reviewed the original sometime before. And viewers, it's not just what he says about this movie, but how it's done that's truly clever.
Yes.
You see, at the time the film was still in the theaters, at least as far as I know, so Critic couldn't use footage of the film itself for his review of it. So what does he do? Get his friends together to reenact the film while constantly breaking the fourth wall. And I have to say, they do so brilliantly. There are even times where I've forgotten that this is a review and not a reenactment of the film itself. Also, Critic makes some very good points in the film, and not just over how Pennywise, the clown, is supposed to act in the remake. He even goes to explain how the film could be better. Though what truly makes this film amazing is what Critic says about both versions of the movie. practically saying that both movies have their flaws and their brilliance.
Yeah, but...
And I'm not just talking about how he does it either. True, it's more hilarious than frightening, but even during Halloween, it's totally worth the watch.
And that was the top 20 Halloween specials. Well, the third top 20 Halloween specials. Obviously, some are new, some are old, depending on how you look at it, of course. And, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this special. Might give some of these other specials I've mentioned a chance to check out. And, well, I guess all that's left to say is I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. And a safe one. Can't forget that one. So, with that being said, this is Ashley Winsong. And let's really hope I finally get to the script and the filming of the next Reviewing the Web. Signing off.